It's been firmly established that Disney likes to add details and jokes that they know the majority of the audience, i.e. children, won't get. Sometimes these are in the form of innuendo or subtle jokes. Other time it's a reference to an aspect of pop culture that's too mature for kids to be aware of yet. So while the Easter eggs themselves may not be R-rated, the films and shows they're referencing definitely are. Here are 10 R-rated Easter eggs in Disney movies that you never noticed. Tangled. In the last act of Tangled, Flynn is getting escorted to his execution when he sees a small ceramic unicorn, signaling that Vladimir and the other thugs from the Snuggly Duckling are about to rescue him. Many older sci-fi fans watching saw this as a nod to Blade Runner, where Harrison Ford's Deckard character sees the origami unicorn when escaping from the police. Now the real question is, does that mean that Flynn is a replicant? The Muppet Movie. In 2010, Jason Segel brought the Muppets back to the big screen for the first time in over a decade, and it wasn't without its winks to older fans. During the Muppets fundraiser, they bring out the chickens to cluck their own rendition of CeeLo's pop hit, Forget You. But Forget You was just the radio-friendly version of CeeLo's much harsher, dismissive lyrics. Those more familiar with the song's original version probably heard those clucks as proxies for an F-word that is definitely not forget. Wreck-It Ralph. In the case of Wreck-It Ralph, the R-rated Easter egg comes in the form of actual eggs. When Ralph is in the first-person shooter game Hero's Duty, he comes across a room full of what appears to be alien eggs. This is a clear reference to Ridley Scott's sci-fi horror film Alien. And just in case there was any doubt, it hatches a cybug that goes straight for Ralph's face, just like the facehuggers in Alien. Going all the way and having the cybug implant Ralph with an alien that would later burst out of his chest would probably be a little too intense for kids. Jungle Book. For the latest version of Disney's The Jungle Book, director Jon Favreau took inspiration from a variety of influences, including Francis Ford Coppola's 1979 Vietnam War epic Apocalypse Now. For the introduction of King Louie, Favreau's staging and lighting are practically identical to the first time we see Marlon Brando as Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now. It's a classic scene instantly recognizable to older film fans, but the kids were probably just wondering why the monkey was sitting in the shadows. Toy Story. While one might expect the most referenced film in Pixar movies to be a Disney classic like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs or Fantasia, it's actually Stanley Kubrick's 1980 horror masterpiece The Shining. The first case appeared in the very first Pixar feature. When Buzz and Woody are escaping Sid's house, you may have noticed a familiar carpet pattern, which was of course taken from The Shining's Overlook Hotel. The pattern shows up again in Toy Story 3 on a small box sitting on the security monkey's desk. Director Lee Unkrich also slipped the haunted room number 237 wherever he could, including on the side of a camera, a garbage truck's license plate, and the username in the online chat room Woody uses. These are pretty subtle references, but prove that Pixar's filmmakers are into a lot more than just toys and cars. The Lion King. Most people probably don't realize that The Lion King actually marked the second time that James Earl Jones and Madge Sinclair had played a fictional African king and queen couple. It was only a few years prior that the two actors who voiced Mufasa and Sarabi played King Jaffe Joffer and Queen Aurelion in the R-rated Eddie Murphy comedy Coming to America. Whether this was a case of typecasting or the filmmakers acknowledging an affinity for a very different movie is unclear, but perhaps they got the idea from the sash Jones wears in Coming to America that happens to be made from a lion's head. The Mighty Ducks. Most people remember Mighty Ducks as a fun, lighthearted sports comedy aimed at kids. It's easy to forget what brought Coach Bombay to the Ducks in the first place, a drinking and driving charge. For some reason, coaching a kids' hockey team was deemed suitable punishment for demonstrating irresponsible and reckless behavior. Beyond this, there isn't much to imply that Coach has a serious drinking problem. But did you ever notice how Gordon Bombay is named after two popular brands of gin? Gordon's Gin and Bombay Sapphire. Gordon's Gin and Bombay Sapphire might make a mighty stiff cocktail. Pirates of the Caribbean. At World's End, the third Pirates of the Caribbean film contains what we believe to be a subtle reference to James Cameron's Terminator 2 Judgment Day. In the scene where Davy Jones visits an imprisoned Calypso, he gets his claw stuck in the bars before he decides to just pass his entire body through them to the other side. This is almost an exact reversal of the action performed by the T-1000, when he walks through prison bars and gets his hand momentarily stuck because of the gun he's holding. It's a minor detail, but given the popularity of Cameron's R-rated action flick, we believe this was more likely an intentional callback. The Incredibles. The villain in The Incredibles has several names before becoming Syndrome.
You're that kid from the fan club. Brody. Buddy.
As the leader of Mr. Incredible's fan club, he was Buddy. As Mr. Incredible's attempted sidekick, he was Incrediboy. But he was never Brody, nor in this movie at least. When Mr. Incredible is trying to remember his name, he calls him Brody, which is a reference to a character in Kevin Smith's raunchy comedy Mallrats. The foul-mouthed, stink-palming character in Mallrats was played by Jason Lee, who voices Buddy in The Incredibles, so you can't really blame Mr. Incredible for his mistake. Zootopia. Disney's animated features spend years in production, so their references aren't always the most topical. In 2013, when Zootopia was in the thick of production, the gritty, meth-fueled cultural phenomenon that was Breaking Bad seemed to be everywhere. As it aired its final season, the extremely dark show was aimed at mature audiences. But that didn't stop the makers of Zootopia from paying homage to the show's main characters. In the Night Howler lab scene, the Rams who deliver the coffee are named Walter and Jesse, after the leads in Breaking Bad who bonded over cooking meth together.
Farewell, my friends. I go on to a better place.
The fun thing about all these references is that it makes the movies enjoyable to revisit, as you pick up on stuff you didn't necessarily understand the first time around. Hey everyone, we want to tell you about our awesome friends over at The Richest YouTube channel. They just posted a very cool video about TV shows that actually predicted the future.
Star Trek The Next Generation first introduced us to personal handheld computers years before they appeared on the market. While the original series had a version, it was much chunkier, bearing less resemblance to the modern tablet models.
Click here to check that out, and be sure to subscribe to their channel for more fun stuff. And don't forget to tell them that Screen Rant sent you.